the practice. Saturday, I suppose, would have been another. It's the two sides of this insane regime coin that we have. We have the foreign policy that's explicitly imperial, insane, and now we have the domestic side of it, of course, with the murder that we've witnessed and that now is going around. And some people have watched and have seen what happened there, and others have watched it and decided to pretend that they don't see what was happening there and just make up something that's more convenient for them. And so I'm going to give people a little bit of time to get in. But in this video, basically, I want to talk about why I'm so enraged by this. In particular, the social media conversation that I'm seeing around it. That's the thing that's really angering me the most. And obviously, on TDR tomorrow, we're going to be talking about this quite a bit, I imagine. Yaz is going to be joining us. But I think that we need to jump on this thing right now because stuff is developing fast and there's just so much going on. So if you're not familiar with this, and I don't see how you could possibly not be familiar with this, obviously, following the made-up fraud story, the explicitly white supremacist fraud story, they decided they're going to send thousands of troops to Minneapolis, spending God only knows how much money. Supposedly because of concerns of fraud and waste, they're going to waste absolutely massive amounts of money to invade yet another American city. So they do that. And what we've been saying is going to happen, happened. And so one of these ICE agents, maybe one who's been around for a while, maybe one who's like, hey, I get to carry a gun, you give me $50,000, and I have 4 days of training, sign me up, is angry that a woman doesn't immediately comply with literally everything that he wants. He decides, rather than allow her to drive away, this innocent woman who's committed no crimes, rather than allow her to drive away, which would be like, I'd have to go chase after the car or whatever, I'm just going to murder her. I'm going to execute her point blank, and that's what he did. That's it. That's what actually happened. And that would be bad enough if then we could all come together and say, oh, dear God, we got to stop this, obviously. We can't have these deployments. We have to claw back the massive influx of money that's gone to ICE. Again, talking about fraud and waste and abuse, spending like $100 billion on this deportation crisis just so you can murder American citizens seems like a bit of a waste to me. But we didn't do that. We didn't all agree that we've passed some dark line that we never should have crossed. Instead, Donald Trump lied multiple times, and I'll read the actual message that he sent about what happened in the video. And a bunch of right-wingers, regular people on Twitter, and as far as I've seen, every right-wing media person watches the video and says, no, she was trying to kill him, and he had to shoot her in the face multiple times. Even once her car was past him, he had to keep pace with it so he could reach into the side of the car and just riddle her face with bullets. He had to do that. And it's good that he did it, and I stand with ICE, and it's awesome. Now, of course, added irony, there's a lot of different sorts of irony like this. Is it even worth pointing out? I don't know. Is that many of these people would have spent the rest of their career saying that they stand against big government. I don't trust it. No, but now they like the boot. They like Big Brother. They like all of that. And so it is one thing to have these unaccountable secret police going into communities and killing people, but then to have your elected representatives and the media pretending that it was justified is absolutely insane. Hello to everybody who's here, by the way, Sean, Warshield, Tess, Explorer. And I don't know if you've noticed the two things that happened this week. So we had the 5th anniversary of January 6th, which allowed us to have another repetition of them pretending that violent insurrectionists who actually killed cops, not drove a car near a cop, but killed them with flags and with fire extinguishers and all that. They're patriots, and they're great people, and they deserve to be pardoned. But if you're a 37-year-old mom driving in the area, you should be executed on the spot by ICE. And they believe both of those things. It is insane to think that the insurrection was a bad thing, and it's insane to think that murdering this mom wasn't the best thing that ever happened. And I stand with ICE. Oh, I stand with the regime. Give me the boot. I want to lick it. And that's what we're seeing. And so, yeah, no, we'll talk more about the actual woman who was murdered. First, though, I want to read, here's what Donald Trump said. And again, Donald Trump lying to cover up for right-wing violence is now just a standard genre of Trump message. Donald Trump lying in the aftermath, insulting the person who's been murdered is now a very recent genre when we look at recent history. He says, I have just viewed the clip of the event which took place in Minneapolis, Minnesota. It is a horrible thing to watch. The woman screaming was obviously a professional agitator. No, she wasn't. And the woman driving the car was very disorderly, obstructing and resisting, who then violently, willfully, and viciously ran over the ICE officer who seems to have shot her in self-defense. Based on the attached clip, it is hard to believe he is alive, but is now recovering in the hospital. So there's a lot of lies to go around in this. But the idea that this deranged, deluded, dementia-ridden old hut looked at this video and says, no, it wasn't that, like, maybe you think the cop thought that she wanted to hit him but missed. He says, I saw her run over the cop, which obviously did not happen. I mean, look, is this like there are three lights situation or something? Like, if you believe that that is an accurate accounting of what's in the video, you need to be fucking institutionalized against your will right now for your safety and the safety of people around you, because that's fucking insane. The idea that she violently, willfully, yeah, that's what she did. This 37-year-old mother of two with stuffed animals on the seat went there so that she could get pulled over by ICE. And then ICE would try to pull her out of the car for no reason. There's no justification. And then she's like, and then I can spring my plot. I can try to murder one of the cops with my car. Okay, I have an alternative explanation. ICE is filled with people with no training and messed up psychology that desperately want to assert power and authority over anyone they can. That's like their core operating principle is, I have to, I want to feel like a big, strong man. And we've been saying that. Which of those stories seems more accurate considering what actually happened and the person that's actually dead? Added irony. There's a lot of ironies to go around here. And so, as many people are saying, there's a case to be made that Nick Shirley killed this woman. Not intentionally. The other things that he did, utterly dishonest things he did intentionally, he should totally suffer the consequences for. Lying about the fraud, lying about the childcare places not being open, all that. But then because of those lies, they invade the city, and this woman dies. If he had not made that video, there's every reason to believe that she would be alive. And think about the symbolism there. In the same way that they claim Somalis are committing childcare fraud, so Donald Trump pulls billions of dollars in social services to blue states, which have millions of conservatives who now won't get funding for their childcare. White MAGA conservatives who will not have childcare money because of Nick Shirley. And he pulls money going to childcare centers, the vast, vast majority of whom are owned by white people that will now lose their business. So that, again, self-destructive stupidity. It's a white woman that dies thanks to their xenophobia and racism. And so, yeah, Ian Massey, I know that you're supposed to pretend to believe that if you're even a human, but you know that he went to the place when it wasn't open and then pretended to be surprised that nobody was there. And there were dozens of kids there later in the day, but he chose not to show you that. He chose to show you a closed business that for some reason, despite not being open, is supposed to have kids there. Do you know what daycare is? Do you know how daycare functions? It actually isn't even just daycare. Did you know that if you go to like a Subway sandwich place and it's not open, you can't get a sandwich? Did you know that? And if I were to go when it's closed and then be like aghast that I can't get a sandwich, that'd be kind of weird of me. And if you believed that story, that'd be weird of you. And so again, it's all fucking lies. It's just white supremacist conspiracy theories. And the reason that they're doing this shit, the Venezuela and all that, as well as this, is they're fucking failing, okay? They're failing. The polling is tanking economically on the mass deportation. They haven't delivered any of their promises because they were never going to, because they don't fucking care about their own voters. And so they have to do something. We gotta get people to to put the flag around them or whatever. And it doesn't even look like it's working on Venezuela. The polling on that is in the toilet too. I don't think this is going to be super popular. Now, obviously, way more of MAGA has signed on to this because they fucking love state violence. They love that boo. They love bowing down to the dictator. All that talk about watering the tree of liberty. They want to be dominated That's all they want. And it could be the weakest, most broken men in America. It could be Donald Trump and Stephen Miller and Pete Hegseth, whatever. They desperately want to be dominated. They don't want to have to make choices. That's yeah. If you watch the AI videos, yes, they do seem happy about it. That's it. And that's the fun thing about AI is if you want to believe things that don't make any sense, you can easily put together a video, a deep fake video, and then you feel all warm and nice in your tum-tum about it. Love AI. Love AI. If you don't like reality, AI is great, actually. If you don't like confronting inconvenient or difficult truths and you just want to feel comfortable all the time, then yeah, no, AI is actually the best. And by the way, I have no doubt they're probably going to make some AI videos of this. Now, it's unfortunately too late. We've already seen all the actual videos showing that the ICE dude just fucking executed a woman. He's literally standing on the side of the car, reaching in and pumping her head full of bullets. Tell me that he was scared of dying when he did that. When he's on the side of the car and he's shooting her multiple times in the head. A 37-year-old white Christian mother of two executed point blank by an ICE officer. Tell me that that's awesome. You saw wrong. No, I actually saw that. You can literally watch it right now. I don't know why it is that you came to the wrong conclusion the first time, but you can go watch it again right now, actually, if you want to. It's publicly available. I have no doubt that Elon Musk is trying to take it down. Have you been on Twitter recently lately? My God, the For You page is full of fucking propaganda. You don't have to follow any of these. I don't follow any of these bullshit right-wing accounts, and they just force it like on your page. They're desperately trying to push this propaganda. Yeah, exactly. She violated the do what I say or do. You're just bow down. These people demand that you submit to them or they will lose their fucking minds, even more than cops typically have done. And so this comment section, by the way, has a lot of reasonable people, but it also has representations of what we're seeing on Twitter, which is there's plenty of people in the MAGA movement that I just think about the anxiety they've been experiencing over the past 6 months. They don't have empathy, but I do. So let me just tell you. So they believe that Donald Trump is going to do something about Epstein. And, joke's on them, Donald Trump is in the Epstein files, his friends are in the Epstein files, so he is never going to allow those documents to come out. So they feel a little bit anxious about that. And they sent Kash Patel and they sent Dan Bongino and, there are warriors, they're going to take down the deep state. And, oopsie doopsie, they're actually participating in the cover-up. So that makes them feel really anxious. And they really believed that Donald Trump was going to usher in some sort of golden age economically. Either because they just don't really know much about the economy or they believe his lies about tariffs. They, for some reason, think the foreign countries pay the tariffs. Like, I tried to educate you guys about that, but unfortunately decided to trust Donald Trump, who doesn't understand how it works. And none of that's worked out. The jobs numbers are crap. The economy's doing bad. Prices are still going up. He hasn't tamed inflation. You combine all of that. He said he was going to end the war in Ukraine. He hasn't done that. So all these big promises he made, he has utterly failed on. F across the board. And that's been difficult for a lot of people in MAGA because they really did believe that he's like the best potential president we can have. So they need something. So what can you give them? Donald Trump thought, okay, I'll take out Maduro. Lots of regular people care a lot about Maduro, right? No, not particularly. Republican approval for that operation's at 39%. That's really bad for your own party to have so little interest. So, okay, what can we do? Well, we invaded Washington, D.C. People didn't really seem to like that. We did it in L.A. We've done it in a number of cities, and the polling keeps going down on mass deportation. But Somalis! If we just say the word Somali enough, maybe people will forget that their economic situation is fucked. There's basically no chance they'll own a home. All of that stuff. Maybe. So they go in there, and what happens? What we said was going to happen. You invade American cities, people are going to get shot. And they did. But it's not a Somali, It's not one of, I'm sure, oh my God, can you imagine how excited they would be if it was that? No, just normal, beautiful, 37-year-old, white Christian mother of two. Murdered on the altar of the desire to change the narrative, or Kristi Noem wants to have another fucking cosplay session so she can make campaign ads, so in 2028 she can run for the presidency and get like 3% of the vote. That's what she died for. And probably more people will die. Because again, now ICE is being shown, no, there's plenty of right-wingers that are fine with American citizens being gunned down by ICE for the crime of being in a car. And so that's what's going on. And as I said, we're obviously going to have a lot more to talk about it on the show. Tomorrow I'll be joined by Yaz. God only knows. I mean, if it's Mike Johnson right now, I'm sure he's walking quickly through the halls of Congress, and if he's asked about this, he's going to say, "Oh, I didn't see Donald Trump's tweet. I have no idea that the president just explicitly lied about an American citizen being murdered by a member of ICE." So we'll see. We'll see. And honestly, if the American people react patriotically and throw ICE out of their fucking city, don't allow themselves to be conquered, they show some actual strength, some cojones, then in a way, that's kind of what the right wants. They desperately want more state violence against a blue city or a blue state, whatever. And so we'll see. We'll see. I'm looking at these updates. Obviously, there's a lot that we're going to be able to cover about this tomorrow. Oh, by the way, did you see Donald Trump wants to increase the military budget 50%? You know, he was going to get like waste, fraud, and abuse out so we can get the national debt down. You know, he's going to rein in spending. He wants to add $500 billion a year to the military. Yeah, he takes it seriously, the budget, really seriously. And he's an anti-interventionist. He's anti-war. That's why the military budget needs to be increased by 50%. Look, I understand that I think I'm giving MAGA a little bit of tough love here, but you can pull the ripcord on this cult anytime. And there's been a lot of great opportunities given to you to do that. Just, take seriously the Epstein thing that you said that you cared about. You know? You said you wanted to take down the elite networks of sexual predators. Donald Trump obviously isn't going to do that. His buddies are in those elite networks. That's a principled stand you can take in turning against the Trump administration, and plenty of MAGA people have done that. Even Dan Bongino was so horrified by what he saw in those files that he left the job after less than a year in it. And so you can do that too. Or you can say, I meant it when I said I don't want new wars. I meant it when I said America first. And Donald Trump obviously isn't doing that. Donald Trump wants to go into Venezuela and Panama and Cuba and Mexico and Greenland and all those countries. You could take that. You could take the Epstein thing seriously. You could take the America First thing seriously. You could take the government funding thing seriously. You could do all this stuff. Or you could take seriously, remember you were so worried about presidential fitness, Joe Biden, falling asleep, not healthy enough. Have you looked at Donald Trump? There's just so many. These are being offered up on a silver platter to you right now. Take literally none of them seriously. And by the way, you don't have to own up to the fact that you voted for him. You pretend that you didn't. Say that you voted for Jill Stein in 2016 and you sat out in 2020 or whatever. It's totally fine. And we'll allow you back into reasonable, rational society. But anyway, for now, we have a media cycle of a bunch of people glorifying the utterly needless murder of, again, a 37-year-old white Christian mother of two whose crime was being near ICE. And that is a crime that is increasingly easy for people to accidentally commit since ICE is fucking everywhere. Again, because there's limitless funding for them. So anyway, just something to think about. Thank you all for watching. I'll see you tomorrow on the show.